This is the real deal. This is a thermal imaging camera used by mechanics and firemen. They use this on the daily with their job. I wanted the real deal. So with that said, you guys should all be able to see me in there, orange, red, and yellow. Sorry, fellas, but that means I'm the hottest thing in the picture. My skin temperature is going to be warmer than anything else out here. So we're going to try to keep somebody in view at all times. That's why I make that little joke so it sticks in your head. So when you guys watch this video tomorrow, because yes, you get the full audio and video from this camera. We're going to try to keep somebody in. Watch what happens when I jump out. The orange, red, and yellow is going to go somewhere else. It will move around. So we want to try to keep that much warmer temperature of our skin, because we're all hot and sweaty right now. Let's just put it out there. It's muggy. We want that base temperature. That's really what we're after with this guy. So I'm trying to remember. Bob, was it?
Yep.
Ah, look at me go. I'm trying to get names right. I see 6 of you guys a week. It gets a little tough. So Bob, we're gonna go with you on this one, man.
Trust me with this?
Yep. So you're gonna keep it horizontal all night. The red square on the screen means that it's recording. You're not gonna touch it. We are gonna split the video, but I'll tell you when to stop the video and restart it back up again. And you're gonna keep that camera on your left. Let's get into spirit boxes. Spirit boxes are always fun, right? Yeah, I'll explain them all, no worries. So I have 3 different spirit boxes. They all do something a little bit different than the next one. So what the heck is a spirit box? Thank you, motorcycle guy, for making me scream and shout. So spirit boxes are going to go through FM radio stations at a very quick rate. On your TV shows and your YouTube videos, it's the white noise. And then the investigator tells you what he thinks he heard in the middle of it, trying to convince you that's actually what happened. Mine are set up a little bit different. These are set up slower. I want the radio chatter to come through. In the event we actually hear a song lyric, a commercial, or a DJ, it's a 50-50 shot. I can tie it to the location of where we are, a person in history I'm talking about, or even something going on with one of us. You're probably looking for Bulldog. You're going to go down 2 streets and make a left. Yep.
First time that's happened for you.
What are you looking for? They're always asking because they see a group of people. If I say ghost hunting, they're like, oh, no, wrong for like, if I say ghost hunting, they definitely, I'm the only guy in town that does stuff like this. But anyway, back to the spirit box. This guy will record the entire session for us, so the person who has this, it's okay if you don't get the gist of how to listen to it, it's fine. We're going to have the full recording tomorrow. It's not going to record any background noise. Even when it's on mute, it's at a nice even level volume in the recording. I don't know how it does it. I don't care. That's why I have it. That's so you guys get a nice full recording back. So I'm going to go ahead and get this guy started. And get this guy recording. As you guys can see, it's already skipping through the stations. So I'm going to put it on mute, and it's still going to be a nice even level for us. Lauren?
Yes.
That's going to go to you. At the very top, there's a little wheel that's going to control the volume.
Alright.
You can feel for it. Get used to how they work. Alright, this one. Yeah. That's where all the fire is at. So this one does the exact same thing, only it does not record. So, Mason, was it?
Yep.
Look at me go. I'm on it, guys. I'm on point tonight.
Wow.
So you also have one button to worry about. It's on the side of the ball speaker. You're going to hold it up gently to get some volume out of it. And then you're obviously, when I'm talking to the whole group, I'll say spirit box is down, so that way I'm not shouting over top of them. It's already set up. That's the only button you got to worry about.
It's a rolly button.
Yep. You actually just got to hold it up. Theirs is a rolly wheel. Yours you just hold up gently.
Oh, hold on. Find it.
So this is also, just so you guys know, just a quick start to get some devices in your hands. If you have questions, our first stop, I will work with you guys one-on-one and then move us on pretty quickly. That place is haunted, but it's a quick haunting, just so you guys get used to your devices. It's kind of a level 1. Crystal, this one's going to go to you, so kind of might want to pay attention on this one. It's going to give us a word from time to time in the center of the screen. Then it's going to save all of those words to a list. Those words could be a message. In fact, only probably 5 to 20% of this stuff will be messages that are legit from the haunted location of where we'll be. This app is actually meant to be a game and a hoax. 80% of it doesn't mean anything. Again, it's going to spit out a word from time to time. The game we're going to play is, where's the word coming from? The app or the ghost?
Just hold it.
Just hold it. That's it.
What happened?
It's called Ghost Hunting Tools.
Okay.
It's similar.
this is the neuralizer for Men in Black. None of you are going to remember a damn thing when you're done. I'll be working with lasers. Yeah. Notice how the kids' reactions go nuts over this?
Yeah, me.
So, well, lasers do not go to kids because this thing can actually get Nick arrested. It definitely goes to an adult. So, the cool thing about lasers and why we use them is because we have the pen, we have the dots on the ground, but you can't see the lasers in between until something passes through it. We're literally going to be taking hundreds of pictures through these lasers. I say lasers because we have 2 of them. This one gives us the red squares. In the event we capture something here on camera, I can then put it in 3D software and get a full 3D view of what we caught along with measurements. I've had this guy for almost a year and have had 2 instances where it was close, but the software wouldn't take it. So again, this is not an in the moment where we're going to see something flashing by. That's why we take literally hundreds of pictures. Last night I had 750 pictures to go through just to see if anything actually went through it. Mom, these are going to go to you. I need a responsible adult, somebody.
No, you're so lucky.
So apparently you want to help her out, right? Digital camera. I don't normally give this to kids either because they don't normally know what it is. But they all have cell phones now.
Yeah, right.
So now maybe is a good time for you to learn because Mom needs some help. So what you're going to be doing, Mom, point one of your lasers down on the ground. This gives you a chance to
figured
learn.
this one out, but I didn't figure the other one out.
All right, so you're literally going to be taking pictures through this. We want the camera straight. I don't want the pictures down. We want to actually shoot through it. You're at the perfect height with the way Mom actually is holding those lasers, so that might actually work out really well. You're going to stand a few feet away from her, but you're going to be taking pictures through it. So you have one big button right there. When it shuts off, it's the button next to it. I'm sure Mom will be able to help you out with that, right? Yeah.
Put it on your wrist. Tighten up on your wrist. But not down, right? You want to get
EMF
low.
meters are an absolute must when we're working out here.
I don't see anything.
So you guys have probably seen these on the TV shows. This one is super sensitive. This one is going to also give us anything from electronics. Is going to make you go into a rhythm or a pulse. Okay, so we don't want the rhythms or pulses. We want this thing to go a little bit erratic. We want it to go nuts. When it goes nuts, that's when you guys should be stopping to ask questions on your spirit box. So the 2 of you will be working as a team. We will always try to debunk what is happening with that thing first. Now, I bring that one up first. I lost his name already.
Regan.
Regan.
R-E-G-A-N.
Okay. So Regan, you're my multitasker, which means you have to help out Dad too. So, yeah, you're okay. This is a cool one. This one also has 3 different tools in it. So it has the same one that Taylor's has. So that's your big numbers. Anything above 2.5, we're going to want to see what's going on there. If Dad finds something in his camera, we can prove or debunk if it's a real ghost or not with the temperature. So if he finds a cold spot, you and I are going to figure out where it's coming from. Fair? The last thing that it does, and I saved this one for him once I've seen his eyes on the lasers. This one, it's also a motion detector. If something gets close to it, it will go off. It usually takes a second to reset itself. So if something gets close to the antenna, it's going to go off. The closer it gets, the higher it's going to go. So, yeah. I'll show you more about how to use that at the first stop. For now, just leave the antenna down.
Jeez, something's going on.
I will tell you, last night, this exact same thing happened, and then all of the power went out. It was like I did it on cue.
Cue spooky tour.
I know, right? So, Rick, did you think I forgot about you?
No.
I didn't think so. I definitely did. So, you get the brand new device. Let me show you how this guy works. This one gets its own separate pocket, so it must mean it's really big or super cool or one or the other. So, do a quick demo on what this guy's actually going to do for us. Hopefully I don't have to scream over all the sirens. Just notice as I kind of go around the group here that you should not be able to see me in the camera. So it should be pretty dark in there. Right at the flashing lights. So let's turn on some lights. Did you guys notice you can't see the lights with your own eyes? You can only see it through the camera. This is full spectrum lighting. So we're going to be, are you right or left-handed?
I'm going to be dexterous, but since I just had surgery on my left hand, I use my right hand.
Perfect. So it's already set up that way.
Yeah.
So you're going to leave the top light on at all times. That's what I call long distance. You have a little red button on the side of the camera that shuts off the short distance. So if somebody's super close, just shut it off, turn it back on. We're only going to record in 2 different spaces because the files on that thing are huge. Right. So again, just kind of like what I have going on with Bob over there is I will let you know when to start recording. That button is right here.
Okay.
So everybody's got a tool and device, right? Everybody's got something that blinks?
Yep.
Okay. Except for me. I'm the guy that carries the audio in the empty bag, so thank you for that.
He said he had something for Cinnamon if I had told him I was bringing it.
So we were just discussing dogs, as you know, we all realize already that she loves to talk about dogs, and I was like, I have like collars with flashlights on them and all kinds of stuff, so when I take my dogs out, we're good. So let me tell you why we started here. So the building behind me, the red building that I referred to you two to meet me at, that place used to be called Big John's Tavern. Big John was a football player, so he played for the 1947 New York Giants. This was his bar. He used to sit in the back of the bar, and he would tell the bartender if the cadets that were coming over from the Citadel, if they were old enough to drink or not. One night, two guys come in, they're not old enough to drink. John has the bartender throw them out. So they come back the next night, and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Now, John sees what's going on. He starts pounding these guys into the floor, just beating them up. A couple of shots go off. John gets hit in the neck, and the bullet lands in the wall. John gets up. Keep in mind, he's also the one that got shot. The two guys were still on the floor. He goes back to the bar and tells the bartender to get him another beer and to get the two guys on the floor an ambulance. So, first off, it's funny because John's the one that got shot, and he's the only one that got up. And second, nobody died. So what's haunting the place is the bullet hole is allegedly still here. You can see that they're renovating the place because there's paper still over the windows. They're actually going to turn it into another Big John's. So I'll have to go back in and see if the bullet hole is still there. I bring this story up because when you go into the front of the bar, people have reported they've had headaches, little queasiness, nauseousness, those kind of things. I bring that up on purpose because, fingers crossed, we will be dealing with paranormal activity tonight, but I don't know how it's going to affect any of you. So if anybody has any of those things, even a little tiny tummy ache, I need to know. We will move on pretty quickly. So again, I don't want to say anything to scare you guys with that kind of mentality, especially moms that are in the group, but I have to put that heated warning out there. So let's talk about something else that's not our own health, right? So we had a big earthquake here in 1886. So if you've never taken a tour in Charleston, this is the first time you're hearing about it. This is allegedly where the first death occurred. The mantle you see in the middle of the building also goes around the front of the building. A piece of it broke off, struck somebody in the back of the head, and killed him. Apparently you could see his ghost in the middle of the night on the middle of East Bay Street. I say all of this apparently and allegedly because I don't have any proof. Okay, it's just a great story, so you guys aren't thinking about getting sick on the tour. So again, it's just a good segue. So are you guys all ready to go ghost hunting?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna head this way. We're gonna follow Cinnamon.
Hi, I'm working with you, Mr. Bob.
Okay.
I really don't know what I'm doing.
Me neither.
I don't know what this is. It's a camera.
It's a camera.
Yours is the easiest.
Yeah, yours is the one that we know.
Mine is hard as crap. So if you do this,
I think the power goes off automatically. What? I didn't touch anything.
yours takes a picture.
Ghost hunt. I don't care what time it is. They're gonna hunt whatever. Right. All right, guys. So welcome to the Big Red Barn Lot. I know I'm taking all Cinnamon's thunder. So this is kind of a level 1. This is all your ghost hunting 101 stuff. This place is gonna be really easy. This is where we keep the horses for your carriage rides. You guys can probably smell them in this night muggy weather, but I can't. I'm out here 6 nights a week. So with that said, the only history here is really simple. This is where we had horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. So, let's talk about spirit boxes, because each group has one. This is not TV. This is not, is somebody here? Because if somebody says no, guess what? Somebody's here. They answered you. So, again, this is all about the details. That's why you guys are here. You're actually here to see something paranormal actually happen. So we're going to go after the details. If somebody's here, tell me what color the Big Red Barn is. It's a simple question. We all know the answer. It's red. In the event you don't see or hear the color red, and I say see because we're working off a word list as well, they might give you something that is specifically red, like a fire truck, like we just saw, blood, heart. These things are specifically red. So again, this is about putting clues together. Big John's not going to
Trailer.
come out. What's it say?
Trailer, and it just now flashed up.
Okay. Well, a trailer could be any color.
That's right.
So I'm looking for things that are specific. So again, with the spirit boxes we have, it's about those specific details, especially in this kind of setting. If you hear double-digit numbers, it's a good chance it might be one of Big John's teammates. I won't be getting excited about one jersey number popping up. Mason, here's the number 40. You get the word Art on yours. Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. That's where I start putting all these clues together. It's about meshing together what you guys are all working through. So, with that said, spirit boxes, if you're going to be close to the front, like over here, by where there's no windows or no glass in those panes, keep your spirit boxes, your noisy ones, to an audible level of 1 to 2 people. They don't like the white noise. They will kick that wall. Lasers are an absolute no-go on the building, and lasers can also set off car alarms. Lucky you, no pressure. So we're going to definitely keep them off of vehicles. But again, definitely want to get some lasers out in here, and I'm going to be working with all of you individually. I am going to start off with the thermal imaging camera and the thermal team, so you can probably stick around too, Regan, and that way you can kind of see what's going on with that camera.
Yeah.
The rest of you can kind of spread out, start listening to those spirit boxes. Where is the... So who has... Oh yeah, he's going to be with us already, so I'm going to be working with him next anyway, because there's more things to his device. But definitely get those spirit boxes up. Let's see if we can actually get some answers to. And if you don't get any answers to the color red, maybe you ask a question like, what's inside the barn? You're going to open it up to all kinds of things. So horses and anything related to ponies, hay, stable, anything related to that. So again, let's spread out. I'm going to work with Bob and Regan first.
Okay.
All right, so as far as your camera goes, this is kind of a bad setup. I normally get you a blank wall, so that way you can kind of see. But go ahead and point your camera just at this foliage and let me see what it kind of does. So you kind of have mainly one color, but keep it there. My hand's going to come into view and should turn everything blue, and that's the reason why we keep, you know, somebody in view at all times. We want to get that array of color. We want it to kind of bounce all over the place.
Sure.
And with on the side of your side, it should be on the right-hand side. That's the upgraded cameras. I'm trying to remember where things are at. On the right-hand side, you should see the difference. So the hottest point versus the lowest point. It's also going to pinpoint things with the dots. You should have a blue dot and a red dot moving all over the place.
Right.
And the nice thing about it is when you're watching the video in real time, you can watch the grid on the side, but when I watch the video in the morning, it doesn't record that bar. It only gives me the dots.
Okay.
So I'll have to kind of keep an eye on it as we kind of move around and go through this. Now, in the event Dad finds a cold spot, you and I are going to be watching that temperature, and we're going to be waving this little yellow guy right here, trying to find out where that cold spot's actually coming from. What do I look for? Like right now, you should have like an average of like 85 degrees, I'm guessing.
Fish is like 110.
On the hottest point?
The lowest point.
The lowest point's 110?
Yeah.
I think that's really warm. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So I'm going to say if anything dips down into the 80s. I usually look for like a 20 to 30 degree drop.
Okay.
Even if it's just a simple cold spot that happens really fast, if you see anything drop down into the 80s, we're going to probably dive in a little bit further and see what's going on.
Okay.
So let's talk about your millimeter. Okay, when I say millimeter, so it's kind of the same mentality of when the spirit box is. If I say spirit box is up, that's also your cue to turn on the millimeter.
Okay.
So pull up your antenna for me. Now, in the back, I left a little flap open unless you closed it in the very back. Go ahead and open it back up. Yep, and you can keep it open all night. There's two little white buttons back there. Flip it back there again. The one closer to the edge, press it all the way in.
Like this one?
Yep.
Oh.
Okay.
Ooh.
It didn't stay on. You got to click it all the way into place.
Oh.
You'll feel it click. There you go. All right, so now it's going a little wonky because you're moving it around. Okay, so it's going to detect your motion based on how you move as well. On the right-hand side, there's 4 buttons. The very bottom one will kind of reset that because you have it going all over the place right now. Nope.
Oh.
On the right-hand side, back here.
Okay.
There's one on the very bottom.
Yep.
Go ahead and click it and hold it as still as you can. The trick to this tool is to try to keep it still, because if something's going to get close, it's going to make it go off. You start moving it around. I normally give this to girls because girls usually walk a little bit more graceful than us. If you're walking around, like, just go ahead and turn and watch how the lights move. See how it's going to move with you?
Yeah.
If I see you moving and that's going off, I'm going to almost automatically deter that it's coming from you. So you got to be still when you're trying to use that thing. The cool thing is if there's a ghost around, you can say, whoever we're talking to, let's use Big John. Big John, if you're here, make this thing go to purple and wait to see if it'll actually go to purple, because these have very specific colors to it. So again, a lot of people use blue. I like to use purple just because I know it's a stronger piece, and they have to get close to it. So if it starts... That was a little nuts.
Yeah, why was that moving so much?
I don't know. I do want to test. I'm going to take it from you for a second. I just want to make sure that the settings, because it looks really sensitive tonight. I just want to make sure that it's...
Got.
Yeah, it goes on low.
Wow.
I'm going to leave it on 2. It is way out of whack. Yeah, every time you move, it's going to make some noises. So you got to keep resetting it. Yeah, just find that bottom button. And anytime you get a reading here that's above 2.5,
Yeah.
just
Wait.
let me know.
On the Fahrenheit?
Nope.
No, the big
big
zero.
numbers.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to start bouncing around with everybody else so we can move on. How we doing with them lasers?
Well, they just said, are you a nice ghost? And Jason's thing said no.
That's a yes or no question.
And they also had on the radio said, ask a question.
Let's go listen.
Why is it moving so much?
I don't know.
Okay, so the only other button you want to worry about on this is circle back.
I can't.
Constantly say, hey, Crystal, where are we at with the list?
I'm not a still person,
We
okay?
have a lot of like religious terms right now. So the fact that you had the word, are you a nice ghost, and the answer no, I'm going to go check out to see what they're actually hearing other than ask a question. And then we're probably going to move on from here pretty quickly.
You want me to record anyone?
Not yet. Not until the next time.
Are you too close to me? Is that why it's coming up?
No, it's just I'm a very movable person thinking about.
Are you a believer?
A believer in good?
I know she was on to this, just to me that it's something up in his ear. I don't know if you have any problem here. I don't think that happens in the past. And then right on
Shouldn't be doing this.
Alright, so I say we kind of move on to the next stop. Alright, we're going to get on to the next stop.
I'm a football player, girl. So come on.
This thing sucks. I hate this so much.
You don't like that thing? Why?
Because I always
So
move
Mason
it.
said no.
Because when this when this thing moves, it does
You
that.
just turn it down?
What color did you get it up?
All right, 1, 2, 3, jump.
See? Look at it. It's obviously something. Do you think it's a thing?
I don't know.
That's really creepy. Why is this thing making so much noise?
Because I move a lot.
No, it just makes noise, I think.
Me.
Alright, so Regan, you can turn that antenna in and click the little white button in the back.
Yes.
So it's being super sensitive tonight. I turned it way down, and with each of his movements, it's going to go off like that. So his job is to be as still as possible. So again,
this
it's
is not for me.
it's like you gave me the wrong tool, man.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna happen. All right, so we've got the are you a nice ghost to know? You already had like 25 millicalories as well, and all of these. Like I take notes on the devices that don't record, so that way it's all in your analysis of what actually happened. And then obviously that's being recorded, so we're good there. So I think we're good to go so far because yours is recording, so we'll be able to have that. All right, so welcome to another beautiful side of Charleston, everybody. It's another parking lot.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know where to park by the time you're done with me, you got issues that I can't help out with, I'm sorry. But this place used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. So their mansion actually faced the front on East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was with that left tree and came all the way across, and we are standing where the servant quarters would have been. So, who the heck were Charles and Eliza Pinckney? They had a son named Charles, they had a nephew named Charles. There's 3 different Charleses. So, the son and the nephew, signers of the Constitution, but nobody wants to talk about politics, including me. So we're going to talk about Eliza. She did something way cooler than signing a piece of paper. Which, by the way, this is not what color is George Washington's white horse, where you guys have the answers like what we did with the Red Barn. You will get the answers from your spirit boxes. So, Eliza married Charles at a young age. I'm not going to give you the number of how old she was, but Charles was over double her age. That's a big gap. So, ask that later on. She married Charles because her father over in England thought he was dying. He wanted to see all of his kids one last time, and she didn't think he was going to die yet. So she got married and stayed put. This is the middle of the 1700s. There's no such thing as getting a green card for marriage. She actually married Charles out of love. So, she was right. Dad didn't die right away, but she's already married. So Dad starts sending her presents and gifts over from England. One of those presents happened to be the plant indigo. I told you her garden was lined up right here. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye, that makes her blue jeans blue, and not one of us is wearing it tonight. So, very interesting. So, if you have jeans at home, they actually have indigo in them. So that's what it's, yeah, it's a blue dye. She's like, I don't care, cinnamon's here. So anyway, rice plantations were going downhill. She was able to swoop her indigo crops right in, and she became a businesswoman in the middle of colonial times. This is a huge deal because she lived right here. She had to also learn from her servants and slaves how to keep this plant going in our weird temperatures. It's not always hot here. So again, this is a very interesting time. I'm going to give you some weird facts about Eliza you can ask about on your spirit boxes. So, keep in mind, this is the only way in and out of this particular lot. We are going to spend a little bit of time here with your devices as I bounce around all of you and see what's going on, but we're going to stay away from vehicles, especially with lasers and in between vehicles. But Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles. They both go by their maiden name, so Eliza L. Pinckney is both of their names. Find out what the L stands for. Obviously, you can ask about her marriage. You can ask what happened to the house. It's obviously not here anymore. But then you can ask what year that tragedy happened. Yes, it was a tragedy that happened to that house. Ask anything you want to about Eliza's death. So, ask Eliza, how old were you when you died? Where are you buried?
Was she really attractive?
That's not for me to say. I will tell you that there is a group here tonight that is from the same place of where she died. So I'll give you that clue. I know your area codes, and I looked them all up. So, but with that said, Eliza, where are you buried? Where did you die? What did you die from? And what president was a pallbearer at your funeral? So younger kids, pallbearer are the people that carry a coffin to a person's grave. So it's an honor to be able to do that. It's a big deal. The fact that she had a U.S. president take her to a grave was a pretty big deal as well. So again, a lot of people go after that question first. As far as the children, tread lightly. If you're going to ask about the kids, I already gave you a clue that there was one child named Charles. There is a tragedy among her kids that she does not want to talk about. If we do and we poke the bear, all activity will stop. Are you getting anything on your EMF? Right?
Oh yeah.
A little bit?
It has been.
That will even stop and go down to zero. I've seen it dozens of times. Maybe ask how many kids she had, how many boys, how many girls, get some names, leave it alone. Again, I'm going to check you guys in on all the websites that you guys bought your tickets from to get you guys kind of a head start. Again, we're going to stay within the confines of the lot. Pretty much most of you are in teams of something, except for Mason. You're all on your own, man. So he's like, yeah, I'm good. I got this. So definitely turn up your spirit boxes in here. Just be mindful of other people's vehicles. They don't like to be filmed and pictures taken of. So just if somebody's going to their car, obviously be respectful. But I am going to check in with all of you very, very soon. Definitely start your recording. Bob, you are already recording, so you're good to go. We're going to stop your video after this location and give it a break. Just so we're going to have to splice that video together. But yeah, let's spread out. Let's see what we can find. Go find those hot spots. Heck would be following Regan and Taylor. They have the 2 EMFs to find out where the hot spots are. Yeah, 40 here for sure.
Follow
So
too.
walk around, see if that number pops up. Can you see it? How do you get the number back?
Oh, gotta turn it on. Is it this? Oh, it is on.
You see it?
Yeah, I do. Barely.
Oh, okay. See if it rises. Don't worry about the beeping. Just see if the number goes up.
I can't see the number though.
Is it backlit or no?
So something got tapped on the front. It's okay. The easiest way to get it back is to just shut it off and turn it back on again.
Okay.
There you go, guys.
There's the lowest I've seen. 74.
Is it a window? It's probably a piece of glass.
Something on the car.
Yeah. So glass will, it can't see through the glass. It just looks at it as an object because obviously it's not looking at things in 3D. But again, glass will kind of deter the temperature away from the day. The first thing I've noticed that, especially when I'm looking at buildings and there's cars in a lot and things like that. So
Let's walk around.
this is what you guys thought you were getting yourself signed up for.
I didn't know.
Some people it could be a little intense. Like they don't expect like all of the crazy gadgetry, I guess.
Let's keep walking.
Oh, 4.9.
What do we got?
That's my highest. It was back here. 4.9.
4 point. That's at 4.9.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Wait, what did
Where'd
you
it
guys
go?
say? Highest?
Above 2.5.
Oh, we did?
Mm-hmm.
Holy. Oh, 2.8? 2.8?
So where's your house?
2.8. It's right here.
Where'd it go?
Should we ask questions?
I don't know. We'll keep walking.
Zero 0.2, 0.3, 0.5,
Walk over.
0.9,
Ooh.
0. Oh, 17.2!
Right there?
Yeah.
How old are you?
Oh, wow.
Turn your thing on, Mace.
Right here was 17.2. That's way over the limit.
Hey, Eliza, what happened to your house? Hey, Eliza, what happened to your house?
Walking.
Ghosts are real, and I don't like them. That's Eliza.
Eliza, what happened to your house?
0.3, 0.4, 0.2.
Getting. Is it getting better?
Eliza, what happened to your house? It's worse over here. Eliza, what happened?
Go back over there then.
Yeah. Go back over here.
Oh, don't say that to them. She doesn't think you're mad.
Look, we didn't saw it.
So you're taking pictures?
It's 0 now.
Yeah. Got 0?
It's 0.
Really?
Shut off. Ghosts are real. What?
Eliza, who was the pallbearer at your wedding? I mean, at your funeral.
Hayden scared her away.
Let's try another spot. Walking.
Oh. Nope.
Let's go over here. You can walk a little faster.
4.5.
Ooh.
What? 1.2.
I'm speaking into that.
How did your house
Eliza, what plan
1.9, Dad.
do you have for around here? What, Reedy?
1.9, 2.1.
Really? Eliza, were you married?
Has to be over 2.5.
Hey, Eliza, who was the pallbearer at your funeral?
They'll say what? What president? Eliza.
Go over here.
Eliza, who carried your coffin?
2.3.
Right here, yeah, this is our garden.
3.5. This is it. This is the spot.
Eliza.
Spot.
When did your house burn down?
Eliza. How is your house destroyed?
Keep going.
Hayden, stop. Mason, don't get near the antenna. Regan, Mom, don't go near the car with the laser
Oh,
pointer.
right.
Nothing right here.
Hey, Eliza, how old were you when you got married?
1.9.
Eliza, where are you from? Go this. Hey, Eliza.
Anything? Let's go over here.
How many points? Oh, 3.7.
Whoa.
3.7. 3.7. Liza, were you from Philadelphia? 2.2. 7.4. 7.0.
Mom, take pictures. Hey, Eliza, were you born in Philadelphia?
I think it did. Liza, were you born in Philadelphia?
Taking pictures, Hayden?
2.9. Isn't it? Eliza, were you born in Philadelphia?
Hey, Eliza, give us a sign that you're here.
2.9.
Eliza, give us a sign if you're here.
Oh, take that. Eliza, pull my hair. You said windshield.
Windshield.
Yeah. We're next to cars.
Over here.
Yeah.
Eliza,
Explain to them. It's kind of my barometer. If it's blinking a lot, I'm probably going to have a lot of evidence coming out of this location.
So what does yours do then?
Like, if this goes over 2.5, what happens at your house? Here.
Oh my God, Mace. Somebody's standing on your shoulder. Just one in your mouth.
Yeah. And then I just had like water. 2.6. Where are you from?
we have windshield over here.
Gravel? You know the word gravel?
Yeah. You said Eliza.
What do you got there?
And I said that one time. She said gravel.
There's my word.
Yeah, nothing is coming up so far.
Something's going to
Eliza, where are you from? Where?
I get more I knew than I do.
Keep saying that.
You keep saying impossible?
Yeah.
Now, the reset is the one on the side, remember? So when it's doing this craziness, now it's off. How did
America.
it shut off?
Born in America?
It's in America.
Yeah.
The reset button is over here.
Oh.
Yeah,
Stop taking
that's the one
pictures.
that's
I can't see
on the
pictures.
right.
Okay,
The one,
sorry.
like right now it's off. It's not even on. So that's the little white button in the back. You gotta click into place. No, no.
Wait, no.
This one back here. There you go. Click that one into place until your green light stays on by itself. Now let go of the button. Now it's not on. You gotta click it into place. There you go. And now you got it. Now the reset button, because you just turned it on, is over here on the side, remember?
Yeah.
You got it. Go ahead and click the bottom button. Perfect. Now you're ready to go.
Okay.
He had the buttons reversed.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yep, he's good.
So, come here, Eliza's over here. Taking a dump. I will scratch your back.
My butt smells. 4.1.
You have COVID. Why do you keep hitting the buttons?
What? Whoa, what's that? 2.7. Eliza, show us that you're here. 0.5. 1.
What you got?
Not much. Just
Much?
I just got 1.2.
Find any cold spots?
2.5 is the.
Yeah, I've got 17.5.
Yeah, I wrote that one down. I heard that one
What's
earlier.
that?
It's a good one. Because yours is a lot more accurate than the one that Taylor has. Let me see what the girls are hearing, and then I'm not getting.
1.5. 1.2. 1. 0.8. 0.5. 0.1. Nothing. Point 5. Nothing. It's around over here. Nothing. 5.3. 5.3 is Sam. It was 5.2 points.
Eliza, what happened to your house?
It was 5.3.
You're better at interpreting this than me.
That bracelet, like Lakers.
It smells like barbecue.
Hmm.
3.5.
What's your highest number, Regan?
17 point something.
Okay, still on that one? Alright, let's get you guys some answers to these questions. Come on back here. So, Rick, you can stop your video. Mom, you can stop yours by hitting that orange square and give your hand.
Mason players. And afterwards, when like a John B and Sarah were like split up and just coming back because they like but anyway, they were just coming back and like they were all dirty and like. Do you see anything? Dad? Is that one boring?
What?
Is that boring?
Yeah.
Are you convinced? I'm not. At all.
What's funny is I get asked that question all the time. We're going to get Cicadas closer to the church later. We're going to stop here for just a few minutes.
I thought they were in my car.
You kept saying that our car was making a noise. Oh.
Peace.
Alright guys, welcome to
Go on.
Lost Alley. So the
I'm
interesting thing
sweating.
about this place, we're not going to be here long. Those are frogs, so we don't want to disturb the frogs. So when we came over that last crosswalk on East Bay Street, that was where the original Charlestown Wall used to be. So we are in the original Charlestown city. This is one of the first streets we ever had. So again, not many tourists like to come down here because there's really nothing to see, but we're using equipment. Did anybody hear any names? So I know you didn't hear any names because I already asked you. Mason?
No.
Nothing. I have a full list of people that used to live here when there was housing in this area back in the 1800s. So again, I normally hear the name Benjamin and John. They both lived here in 1801, so it's not coincidence that I get those two specific names all the time. And there was only 5 people that lived here in that time frame. So 2 out of 5 people, I'll call it a pretty good record. The Freemasons also had their Masonic Lodge here, so that's why it's called Lodge Alley. So the hotel, the reason why we're being quiet is because they all claim to have a ghost. It's named after this alley. So again, I don't know what the full story is on what the ghost is, because every hotel in Charleston claims to have a ghost. Next summer, my wife and I will be doing a full round and spending the night in all these hotels for more podcast episodes and trying to prove or debunk what they're actually claiming is actually there. So if you're podcast listener, that's where all those provings and debunkings will be. But again, this is interesting just so you guys can see some cobblestone in Charleston. What's going to actually happen from here. We're going to keep the spirit boxes down on low. We're going to keep those videos recording for a little while longer. We're going to go learn some myths and legends near the cemetery by St. Philip's Church. And then we're going to dive into a female pirate across the street at the Powder Magazine, where we're going to do a full-blown investigation like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion. I know it's hot, so I kind of put this myths and legend portion in so you guys can all have a seat, take a break. I'm sure Cinnamon can use a break too. With little legs running around here.
Was there a soldier in this area? Or a sir? S-I-R? Sir?
This would have been lower class folks.
Okay.
So they did do an archaeological dig and everything points to lower class. So I'm guessing no soldiers in this particular location. Maybe in the Freemason Lodge, possibly, but I don't think there's any records of those folks at all. Okay. All right, let's go cut through this neighborhood and be sneaky Pete.
Nope.
Let me know when you have to fart. We'll get this on here.
Why? Oh yeah. I thought that car was flipping out.
Nope. Anybody needs a fart, you just speak up. Because I can catch it on here. Catch your fart goes.
Ew.
Hey, so just crap it down.
Catch up, guys. What are you guys doing? You guys are the slowest walkers in the world. Right, Dad?
Yes, they are.
$5.1, Dad.
It's not by a meter.
Oh.
You like that?
It's the biggest Tesla I've ever seen. Is there things there? Yeah. Things here?
Meter?
Meters. There's like 5.
Yeah.
You're good for how long?
I don't know, a couple of hours driving. But you don't charge all the way up. Because it's like on a cell phone when you start to get near the end, it gets slower.
Did you want me to keep recording all the way down the sidewalk?
Look, a cat. Go away, cat.
We'll start it back up
Oh
again.
my God.
Okay.
Leave the cat alone.
like scary.
They're the devil.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you guys all see the cat walking around?
Yeah.
I named
Yes.
him Jack. So he likes to come around when I'm telling the story about Calico Jack across the street.
Yeah.
So he's an interesting little kitten. So if it's a he, I don't even know. It's a stray that likes to hang around. But yeah, have a seat. You guys take a load off for a few minutes. So Crystal, where are we at with that word list? Let me take a look.
Stop. Go over there. Go over there. Let's see first.
Reading it this way.
So did you guys notice the alley that everybody's trying to come in and out of over there?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's definitely shut that one off over here. It's just a distraction while I'm trying to give you guys some stories. So that, technically we're not supposed to be down there because it is residential at the end. So again, but there is a really cool story there. You guys all turn around and you'll see that wall behind you. That is part of that alley. It's called Philadelphia Alley now. We named it after a city that actually saved us after, many, many fires. But it used to be Philadelphia Alley. Oh yeah? Excuse me. Oh, you're good, you're good.
Big old kitty.
Stray cat.
Make a friend, Nicole.
As he's yelling at me.
He's very friendly.
Cats.
Toby gives you worms.
Dogs are so much better.
And it's like Cinnamon hasn't even been here. I keep forgetting she's here. She's so small. But anyway.
And rabies.
It's called Philadelphia Alley now, so it's very interesting. But the fact that there was the specific duel that occurred down there, we can all prove this duel. So I normally get clues wrapped around that specific duel. So there was a doctor that moved down here from Rhode Island. So kind of keep that state in mind. It comes up again later. But he moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. There's a lot of key words, by the way, in this one. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. So she's pretty much rich. The attorney that was handling the money for her told her to send the doctor away, that he was just after her money. He comes to Charleston to prove that he's not. So he's dressed pretty well. He just got out of med school. The coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. So this guy's probably going to die soon. But somebody walking by named Ralph Isaacs, he has the same initials as where the doctor came from, R.I. That comes up here a lot. So he says, you don't want to stay here, let me take you somewhere else. He takes him to 59 Church Street, right up the road, because we're on Church Street, obviously from the big steeple. So once he gets him there, the two become friends. The doctor's making lots of money, so he's doing pretty well for himself, and his fiancée is moving down soon. He becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Every haunted city has a whistler. Ours just happens to be a doctor. So again, he actually whistled. Now, with him and Ralph being friends, the doctor makes more money, so he gets better seats over at the plays that they go see. That's where you got to watch for our friends, the palmetto bugs. They're
Ew.
basically cockroaches.
Yeah, I know what they are.
So,
Where?
with
I don't
that
know.
said, they go see plays together, but they don't sit next to each other. So they talk about the plays on the way home. One night they're talking about William III, a specific play. The doctor loves the new actress that was in town. Ralph does not. So they start arguing. Then Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée back home. They obviously go their separate ways. They get pretty mad at each other. Ralph is from here. He goes to his friends at the newspaper. He puts an ad in a paper telling the whole city what a disgrace the doctor is to the city of Charleston. The doctor sees it, obviously, and rebuttals with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. We're going to settle this. So they come down, they take their 20 paces, they turn, the doctor pointed his gun in the air and it's shot. He did not want to kill his friend, which is normally what happened in a duel. It wasn't always a death. So Ralph still has his one shot. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. So the doctor didn't die either. Instead, his friends pick him up and they take him to 59 Church Street. He dies 10 days later. He's a doctor that can't heal himself, probably from bleeding out. They say as you walk through there, this is where we would use my audio, because they say you can hear the whistles from the doctor. Keep in mind, we have a lot of hecklers in town, and they all know the story. So anybody walking down Queen or Cumberland is going to throw a whistle down the alley. And, you just got to kind of debunk which ones are which. I have some, when I used to take people down there, of things that I can't figure out where it actually came from, because it's definitely not a person. It's really faint in the background. But again, it's a very interesting alley. It's the most picturesque place. If you guys just got here and you haven't been down there yet, day or night, if you're a picture taker, that's the place to be. It's gorgeous. It's also very quiet. It's 1 block away from East Bay Street, which makes it interesting for listening to those whistles. There's a lot of stories on this corner. That's why I went to Crystal's list first. Sometimes I get a clue or some kind of inspiration of which stories I'm going to tell. And with the age group that we have here, I'm going to keep things PG as possible. So I'm going to omit some stories. So a couple of things here. There's two different sides to the cemetery. So Charles Pinckney, the one we talked about earlier, he's buried on this side because he's from here. This is for native Charlestonians only. The other side is for everybody else. If you're a history buff, John Calhoun, your 7th vice president, is buried over there. They did move his sarcophagus several times trying to figure out where he was supposed to go, and that's kind of the mentality that we have of John Calhoun. He's not from here, but he did live here. Any words popping up on your list now? Money.
Profile.
What was the other one? Profile and money.
Silver cat friend.
I got nothing on money either. She's getting a little angry. There's a ghost over there. So, I normally don't take people to cemeteries because you don't get much activity in a cemetery. However, the story they're telling up there is a ghost story in a cemetery. The reason why they're all up there is that there's a sign right inside the gate that says there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. There's a reason for it. In 1888, a young lady died after 6 days after her stillborn child. Maybe means the baby didn't live. Okay, so with that said, that's 1888. 1987, a local photographer is in town. He takes pictures. He captures a full apparition, meaning a ghost in a picture of a woman wearing a shawl with a baby basket next to her over that grave of her and her child. So it's 1987. We don't have all this technology. He sends it to Kodak to try to get it debunked. They can't debunk it either. So the picture is cursed. I don't bring it out for females because, of course, in my occupation, they say females that hold it, you're going to get the same symptoms like what I told you about at Big John's. But as far as, pregnant females that are holding it, probably not going to have a good pregnancy based on the gist of the story. So again, I don't bring it out. If anything pops up over it, he's over there probably handing it out to everybody. But I take this stuff very seriously. So, but again, it's a very interesting picture. So if something does pop up, I will give a warning before I give you the link to open it up. Let's get your mindset on pirates, because I can see everybody's fidgety and kind of moving around.
They always are. Literally, don't worry about them.
I have kids, I understand.
Okay.
So they're obviously grown now, but it's been a while. But yeah, I understand. No problem. Pirates are moving for lane, so let's get into them. Do you guys see the burning gas lamp off in the distance? That's the pirate house. That's where Blackbeard's men would come off their ships and have a few drinks, and they would meet with a few girls, and they would have a place to sleep, and that's where they hung out. Blackbeard actually stayed on the ships. He never set foot on our soil. Then the pirates over there dug a tunnel from the pirate house 1 block away to Dock Street Theater because it was called Planters Hotel there, and it was also a playhouse too as well. So they would actually go there to actually work backstage. The pirates pay really good knots. They would do that in between bartering with the locals. So again, it's an interesting story. Somebody actually lives at the pirate house. Don't go in his backyard looking for ghosts. He does get mad. You can figure out how I know that, but again, he's one of those guys you don't want to miss. So, but you can't miss it. There's an anchor on the front of it. It's a very interesting place. Dock Street Theater, just so you know, is noted as one of the top 10 haunted locations in America. I don't have that kind of proof. I've been there dozens of times. I don't have much there. I'll be honest. So again, most of the haunting claims you guys read about and see on TV, most of it is false. I would put it out there. And I'm doing the St. Augustine Lighthouse next month with a whole group of people that invited me down to come lead their investigation. So we'll kind of see what's actually going on in the St. Augustine Lighthouse. So that should be an interesting one for sure. I've never been in a lighthouse. We'll see what my equipment does there. Alright, now that your mind is on pirates, let's go across the street. We're going to learn about this powder magazine and dive into this female pirate. So,
hey Mace, get some manners.
I wasn't clicking it.
You didn't stop.
Mom, what did you
doesn't get any better. 3 days away from the full moon. At a full moon, it'll be right next to it. It's very cool. Yeah, because we're going to be talking about that building over there, but I wanted to point out the really picturesque, almost full moon next to the church steeple. How long have you guys been in town?
Since Saturday?
Okay, but you guys have been here a few days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we're 3 days away from a full moon, and it will actually move right next to it when it is full. So it's a really nice picture. I use it a lot for social media because
That's nice.
It's the tallest steeple we have, and based on the earthquake, if you're any kind of history buff, that steeple is actually off based on the
Oh yeah, we heard
earthquake.
that. Yeah.
So
It's pretty cool.
Tie it around your waist.
Good job, Hayden.
Camera on.
You're welcome.
wait till I'm done with this little bit of history, then we'll turn it on because I'll have the cameraman go to the front if you guys want to go up there. That way we'll save some footage for up there. All right, everybody got some cool pictures of the moon next to the crazy church steeple. Yeah. All right, so let's give you the gist of what's going on here, and then we're going to dive in full tools, everything. Lasers, we got the front of the building, the side of the building, spirit boxes, everything will be in full tools. This one's a doozy, but let me kind of give you the gist of what's going on here. So we're going to be looking at the building with the crosses on it. First off, those aren't crosses, those are earthquake bolts. I told you guys about the earthquake earlier. The gist behind earthquake bolts is it's a turnbuckle. So if we have another earthquake, which we haven't since 1886, you can turn those turnbuckles and it'll straighten the building back up again. It's a great theory that doesn't work. So, yeah, the interesting thing is that those are the very first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in. So, because this is the oldest government building on the East Coast, it was finished in 1713. It's not the oldest building in Charleston, but it's the oldest government building on the coast. So, this held gunpowder for 7 different wars, including the Civil War. We were talking about the Civil War earlier. So, this building, the construction of it is very interesting. So I told you guys about the Charlestown Wall before, right? This is where the wall was, this street right here. So we're still inside the original city. It went up past the Powder Magazine and then started going south towards the Battery. It's tucked in the corner on purpose. We're 3 blocks away from the water. If it gets struck by a cannon, it's going to have a hard time getting through 32-inch thick walls. But let's say that it does. It's going to hit the gunpowder and blow up the building, blowing sand that's underneath those shingles up in the air that's supposed to fall to put out the fire from the gunpowder. Another great theory that doesn't work. We had another powder magazine close to the Battery, sand went up, fell, building burned to the ground, so it did nothing. But the sand is still there. It is from 1712. Sand does not disintegrate. So again, we have 300-plus-year-old sand sitting in that roof right now.
Wow.
It is a museum now, so if you're interested in war stuff, like it's really cool, get out of the heat for 30 minutes kind of mentality. I tell you all of this about this history of this building because that's the middle of where the story begins. We have a young lady that moves here from Ireland. Follow me, this is a doozy. She moves here with her dad and his mistress. That happens to be her mother. The 3 of them are running away from his wife. You guys with me so far? Okay, so as they move halfway across the world to get away from this scorned wife, they land here in Charleston. Dad buys a plantation in the Georgetown area. Mom dies pretty quickly, starts sending his young teenage daughter down here to do all the business to sell crops. So this building is just familiar. That's the reason why we're here. But we're going to fast forward past when this was completed to 1715 when pirates start coming through town. And had a rumor about her that she actually killed one of her servants back in Ireland with a knife to the belly. I'm just giving you the mentality of this young lady as we go through the story. She's pretty hardcore. So, pirates are here. She's pretty excited. She thinks she's going to be hooking up with Captain Jack Sparrow. She finds a guy named James Bonney, and Dad doesn't approve because he's just a dirty old pirate. They run away to Jamaica. She marries this young man. She is now Anne Bonny, the most famous female pirate of the Golden Age, who started her career right here in Charleston. Yeah, she gets down there. James Bonney is a privateer, which means he's a coward. She doesn't like this guy anymore. So even though she's married to him, she falls in love again. This guy's name is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack, hence the name of the cat that likes to follow me around into this lot. I call him Jack. So, Calico Jack is that Captain Jack Sparrow type mentality, so if you guys have seen Pirates of the Caribbean, that's who she's looking for. He has his own ship, and she wants to be part of it. But girls, they curse pirate ships. You can't have a female on a pirate ship. The deal that she makes with him is that she'll dress like a guy to be part of the crew. She's okay with this cross-dressing because Dad used to hide her as a boy back in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So it's just one of those, I'll do whatever I need to do to get what I want. She's allowed to be a girl in his quarters, and of course, because he's the captain, eventually she gets pregnant. So, with that said, you can't have a pregnant guy on the pirate crew. So they drop her off in Cuba, go have the baby, we'll figure it out later. She goes and has the baby, she returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to the child, whether she lived or died, or if she just left the baby with his family. She's also dressed like a girl. She doesn't care anymore about hiding who she is. This makes Jack mad, and knowing the mentality of Anne, she's going to make him even more mad. She's going to go flirt with the pirate crew that he just captured down below deck. The guy that she starts flirting with turns out to be a female pretending to be a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So we have two females doing the exact same thing, trying to be pirates. They're dressed like guys. She convinces this young lady, whose name is Mary Reed, to dress like a girl, join me on the pirate crew above deck. Now we have two pirates doing the same thing. The British find out where they are. They start sending in all their ships to come attack them. It's one of the last ships that they want to take over. It's literally Anne and Mary above deck trying to fight back because the other pirates are too drunk to come up. Obviously, the whole ship gets captured. The last words she said to Calico Jack were, "You should have fought like a man instead of going down like a dog." The word dog shows up here quite often for me. So, with that, the judge, his name is Nicholas Laws. When you guys see or hear my name, it's the judge, not me. He wants to see the two men by themselves. He already tries and hangs the other pirates. They're gone, including Calico Jack. So the two females go in front, they reveal their gender. He doesn't care that they're girls. So he says, "I'm still going to hang you, you're still pirates." We plead our bellies, which means they're both claiming to be pregnant. You cannot hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. Send them both back to jail. It delays their hanging. Dad is still here in Charleston with all of his Irish money, bails her out, brings her back. She remarries again, guy number 4, because yes, we're counting Mary Reed, and then she dies at the age of 84. So there's a lot of 4s in that one. Comes back, husband number 4, has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. That's all we know. As far as Mary Reed goes, she died in a Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. It was probably bumpy and gross and nasty, and we don't even know if her pregnancy was true or false. That was in 1721. So again, there's a lot of holes in this story, because everybody has a different version of it. You can ask whatever you want to, but the only two things that I know for certain that I did not tell you yet were the name of Calico Jack's ship and the name of Anne Bonny's parents. So again, if those are 2 things you want to start off with, see what happens. We're probably going to have to change your battery out here, so you and I will kind of stay back and lag for a second. Okay. But cameras, including lasers, if you guys want to go to the front of the building, shoot your lasers inside the front yard of the powder magazine. As long as you're not in the way of other tours, you can do so, including thermal imaging. So your battery is probably great because you have a battery pack on yours. But yeah, let's get some pictures, lasers going, thermal imaging, everything's up on full quick. So 10 to 15 minutes based on what we find. We're going to get more stuff.
You good? What you got?
2016.
We can go right here.
Is it cold right there?
What you got?
There? Right here?
Yeah?
Come,
Come towards me.
what?
Come towards me.
Not good? Not good?
Yep. You got nothing?
What's the name of the ship? Opportunity Forever, that's what it said.
Alright.
What's the name of the ship?
Opportunity?
What?
You just said opportunity, right?
Is it still cold spot? I heard that.
Yeah.
Probably.
Go lower. No.
already sold it.
It just said 12.
Is that 12 too? Yeah. Okay, relatable, but I'll find out. Talk about the phone. See if you can find out who the judge was. And how much who that judge was.
Who was the judge?
Not really.
Come on, you're my kind of lady.
Now, I will tell you, this is only this is not the Pinkley Mansion. Yeah. So when you do have something, it's exciting because something's going to happen.
It's not captain.
It did.
Then I saw what's the name of the ship. It said captain.
It's a piratey term. I'll give you that. We're getting closer.
Shimmer me timber.
Right?
Isn't that what it says?
Bob found a cold spot over there.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where at?
Back over here.
That word introduction,
Yeah.
I had just said, and you and I would have been friends. I'm a rebel too. An introduction. That's kind of cool.
I'm sorry, where was your cold spot at?
Over here.
But it
Was it
said
like in foliage anywhere?
No, it was right on the.
the highest was 0.02.
Okay. And again, just like I told Taylor, this is not the Pinckney Mansion, so the EMFs are not going to go. And you got it on a different setting right now, so it's probably why it's not moving anywhere.
We literally were just having that conversation. Yeah, right.
Any cold spots?
So you said it was up here along the wall?
No, it was on. It was like right around here.
No, wasn't it near the plumber?
Oh, I thought he said shine the light in something here.
What's the name of the ship?
What did it say, Mace?
I don't know. Like at least like 30 by now. Probably more. I just said at least, so probably.
I know the green one's a lot easier to see in the
This is what.
Yep. 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 You see it now? It's in the center.
Yeah, right there.
Yep.
It's the spot there.
Yeah, so like this one is shooting off that way.
I don't know where I can
Still pointed in the air. Mason said, "Is this almost over?" And his radio goes, "Nope."
What?
Nothing.
Something happened.
No worries.
Come on.
Tell me,
It's the most I've had here.
what was the name of your ship?
What's the name of your ship?
It would not be the name.
What's the name of your ship? Do you have any rum?
Well,
I'd like a drink.
I just said yay.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. Is it almost over?
Do you have any rum?
Why would they have one number?
Rock like a whip.
We have cellar
I would get one in
and third.
Anything?
Got anything?
Nothing. I think I heard it sing. My highest 1.7.
name of your ship?
Cinderella.
Pirate.
It only did belong, so she's female on pirate.
It's just flasher. There's two spots on flasher.
Probably.
Come on, Ian.
You may not have belonged, but you were a rebel.
Gago,
And everybody
Gago,
still knows
Gago.
who you are. It's cool.
Did anyone
What was the name of that ship?
The radio said Gaga, but it's kind of Lady Gaga.
Right.
Remember when I used to be obsessed with Lady Gaga?
4 minutes.
I heard something pretty clear. I just didn't hear like I heard it was loud. I just didn't hear how clear it was. 4 minutes. You're getting the number 4 a lot.
Yeah.
What's the name of the ship?
What's the name of the ship? 2.8. 2.7. Did you ever walk the plane? 2.3, 2.2. Something was right here.
Did you have a parrot?
Did you ever say R?
What's your favorite letter?
Mom, there's something right here.
R. You think it was R?
2.8.
Oh yeah? Mason's radio just said it's done.
Mom said we're leaving in 30 minutes no matter what. But we just said it's dumb.
I can tell where a car was parked today.
Really?
It's pretty
Why?
neat. Look. There's one park right there.
It's cooler?
There's one park.
Nobody else.
Apparently not here. Oh, there's one right there in number 3.
Ghost cars.
Looks
What
like-
about me? Anything interesting?
I want to see. Your feet look weird. I just got another 2.8. And your mine's right 3.4. Right here. Oh,
Really?
3 something. Your stuff. Dad, is there anything here?
Well, so my feet colder. Oh, that's recording, isn't it?
Wait,
Nah,
what
I
did he
can't
say?
see through you.
It's just like crazy.
It's not getting anything through your clothes.
Mom, what did he say? Mom, what did he say?
Did you say, come on, guys, let's go?
Yeah. Did he say?
You said, come on, guys, let's go.
I think that we should actually wrap it up. That might be our cue. So let's get closer to the wall so I can start collecting these gadgets. I did notice out of the things that you heard the number 4 a lot. So again, you had 41, 4 minutes, and there was another piece in there. But if you think about it, those are all kind of, she had 4 lovers, she had 4 kids, and died at 84.
Right.
So again, lots of coincidences there, and that's exactly what I'm going to call them at this point, is coincidences.
Right.
So, but Rick, yeah, I'll take your camera first, just because it has its own pocket. At this point, you guys can ask me whatever type of questions you'd like to. I know I kind of cut some of you guys off with questions about, my other work and what's my craziest thing I found and all that stuff that usually gets asked. So, where was my skeptic? I felt like I had at least one. Okay. Fair enough.
And I'm kind of like, maybe.
Really?
Wait, what was the name of the ship?
No, I didn't.
The
I
name of
just
the
kind of
ship
pushed
was
through.
called the Kingston. So I don't expect the word Kingston to come through, but I do expect the word king.
2.6. Was it really?
Alright, so we'll just kind of go around the horn. I'll start collecting your gear. What other questions do you have? So you guys will have
Wow,
that
Regan says right here is really hot, or whatever. 3.1.
I've had many
3.1?
in the 3s right here.
Now you tell me, now that I put my notebook away. Nice job, by the way. This is not an easy job.
Nice.
So we'll see what comes out of the recording on Lauren's in the morning.
There you
So 3.2 over here.
Yeah.
Break that one down. Again, this one's not exactly easy either because it can be pretty finicky, as you saw.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take your camera. Nice job. Hopefully there's